talk about a driver that's made a lot of headlines over the last several weeks here in NASCAR. Shane Van Gisbergen, in his Truck Series and his oval debut in NASCAR, was 19th, a bit of a letdown given the expectations that SVG's had following his Chicago win, or is this, given how radically different this was from Chicago, about where you expected him to wind up?
This was perfect. A perfect first start on any oval for someone who's never done ovals before. This was fantastic for Shane Van Hamburger and Shane Van Gisbergen. My bad. He was, and the best part about it, all of it, is that he's having a blast still. Just to see the smile on his face, he wanted to just finish, and he's fully capable of winning. But just having your first time on the oval, that was a great run, and just seeing the expression on his face was enough for me. 19th is nothing to lay your head down on. He's good to go, and definitely expect to see him back in an oval sometime soon. This is maybe less than what I expected. I don't know. I've been seeing, after seeing the wildness of SVG at Chicago, I was setting my bar maybe a little too high for his result at IRP, and I was also setting it high for what he would do at the road course for Indy, both a little bit lower than what I expected. But I was setting super high expectations after the first career victory in 60 years.
I got to tell you, I was expecting a little bit better, but again, I think that's probably just the heightened expectations of how great he is at racing, generally speaking. But this was something completely different than what he's ever done, unlike Chicago, which is very similar to his day job, if you will, in supercars. And again, you want to talk about the worst kept secret being potentially the return to the oval next year for the NASCAR Cup Series. I think maybe another worst kept secret, if you will, is what SVG is going to be doing next year, making this full-time transition over to NASCAR. It's just what series and with what team, that's the question mark for SVG. But again, I think 19th, he ran solid, brought the truck home in one piece. And the biggest thing, again, that stood out to me, like you mentioned, Brandon, was just to see him that happy and that excited. He genuinely looks thrilled to be here, and he looks like, it reminds me of Frankie Muniz in ARCA. This guy's not here to just, mess around and be a big name coming into something new for him and, just, run wherever and let that be that. He's here to compete, and he's here to win, and he's here to get better with every opportunity he has, and is very serious about this. And I think that's great to see for Shane Van Gisbergen.
Yeah, he's so elated. In fact, whenever Ty Gibbs flipped him the bird post-race in the Cup race, he thought it was just a wave at him from the front. But anyway, another thing that Matthew noted on USRN on the broadcast was how out of breath he was in his interview. And you got to take that with consideration. This is a V8 supercar ace who is used to destroying his lungs inside a very hot box. And so for him who goes through much more on the other side of the planet, comes to the truck race at IRP and is out of breath, that's something to note for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. It's certainly, again, maybe it's just, muscle memory. It's something completely different, but it's still very physical and very hot inside these race cars and trucks. So that's something I'm sure SVG will get adapted to as he makes this transition. We expect him to make this transition over to NASCAR full-time in the not too distant future. So we'll see what comes of that.